face in their little hat, and they have money all in this stocking, way up there to, you know.
And they had men's as well as ladies dressed in the baby dolls also.
Cross-dressing on Mardi Gras is as old as Carnival itself.
Oh, I get one of my little nieces' outfit or something like that. But we always did go out as women. All the men was dressed as women.
But when they come, they want the best of ladies' clothes. Yeah, I had to hide my nice shoes, my purse, my nice dress, and all that. They want all that.
Another group of maskers that accompanied the baby dolls were called the Dirty Dozen.
And Dirty Dozen could be anything that you want to wear.
One year I masked, and I had back then they used to wear, they used to pin the baby diaper with one pin right in the middle. With one pin. So I dressed like that one day.
Then they would come out again in the evening in their pretty baby dolls. Everything was glossy satin, yellow satin one year, red satin another year.
And as loud and as boisterous, but rollicking fun.
And the music would be tubs, old tubs and pots and pans beating on the kazoo horn and all that, man.
Our drum was a number 5 wash tub. We sang a lot of Creole songs, some song that was made up. Hey, la misère, fais ma carte, manger piment. Hey, la misère, fais ma carte, manger piment, piment. So, hey, la misère, fais ma carte, manger piment. Hey, la misère, fait ma carte, manger piment.
The baby dolls and the Dirty Dozen were just a couple of the parading groups that made their way to Claiborne Avenue.
Claiborne was a neutral ground. They had their table, their chairs, some be selling donuts, hot collies. That's a famous dish for Carnival. People would walk all through Claiborne. That's where the Mardi Gras and the maskers come down. But now most of my baby dolls is either gone or they up in age.
They captured the spirit of Mardi Gras like nobody else. I mean, it was like, let worry and stress go to hell, because today I'm letting my spirit fly.
Perhaps the strangest carnival custom in New Orleans is the annual appearance of the Skull and Bone gangs on Mardi Gras morning.
Mardi Gras did a long time ago before World War II. The first people you see on the street is the Indian and the skeleton.
As we would travel, we would go to different houses and wake up the neighborhood, because we get out before dark, before daylight. But we carry tambourines, cowbells, something to make noise. So when we gone through on Mardi Gras morning, everybody can hear the noise. Wake up, open your door, we coming. Here we come, here they come.
We were in the house and my mama said, you see, here come the skeleton. Everybody looking to go under the bed, get in the closet, hide in the bathroom or somewhere. But there was something fretful to look at.
They knew Mardi Gras and not Mardi Gras without seeing the bone there.
I remember seeing skeletons as a boy, and it wasn't anything that you would welcome. It was an awesome, frightening experience. You would run away from that.
I had been rain a many morning going to the bakery shop to get the bread and the donuts. 5 o'clock in the morning, sunlight just coming in. And I see nothing but black and white, you know, and big head, little head, and the apron in front of them, you know. Then they get them big old bones. I guess they go to the slaughterhouse and get them bones, you know, all those red bones, bloody and everything.
Everybody had a ball. Yeah. And then the bloodier it was, the more meat it had smell it and look. You know what I'm saying?
And if they know you're afraid, they gonna hang on you mostly.
You had a walk that you did, you know. You had a walk, and you just and those heads when you like these skeleton heads when you put all that material on them, all them coat of paint, and when you say oh, you hear echo, and it sounds scary. The voice that comes out of there, you know, out of that head, and people was really, I mean, grown people was afraid of them, you know, and man, we used to have a lot of fun massing the skeleton.
Who are these skeletons, and what do they have to do with Mardi Gras?
And a lot of people ask us, are we Zulu? A lot of people ask us, are we voodoo? Are we hoodoo? We're not neither one of those.
We find skeleton imagery in rituals and celebrations all over the world.
It's a carnival, the same as it is in Haiti, Puerto Rico, Rio de Janeiro. And if you look at every Mardi Gras, every year, in those countries, you will see the original bone game.
Skeletons show up all through all sorts of societies. They're parts of Days of the Dead ritual. They're parts of resurrection rituals.
They've been a part of New Orleans Carnival for at least as long as the Indians, and may find their origin in Haitian traditions.
Certainly you see almost the exact same costume in terms of the skeleton here in New Orleans, skeleton gangs, and what you see in Haiti. And the Loa Gaity, which is a guardian of the cemetery, is very, very strongly present here in early Loas that are revered here, like Baron Samedi in New Orleans is the same in Haiti. And those skeleton gangs definitely seem to be a throwback to that era.
Gaity is part of the spiritual pantheon of Haiti, which was brought to New Orleans and incorporated into local voodoo beliefs.
Gaity is associated with death, the skeleton itself, and fertility. He's very rambunctious. He's over sexually active, and that is an expression that's a big core part of what Mardi Gras is. And in fact, most people, if they saw it, would analyze it, and they'd say that Gaity controls the whole thing. And the colors of Gaity is purple. It's the raw purple color. You see that all over in Mardi Gras. It's the basic color for Mardi Gras. So Gaity's everywhere that has anything to do with Mardi Gras. And the skeletons are a wake-up call for what's happening and what's going to happen.
Part of their function in Mardi Gras is to remind us of our ancestors who have gone on. For children, they also serve a more cautionary role.
When we go after kids, to get them, stress them a point about going to school. Are you going to school? Are you being good? Huh? If you're not, I'm going to see you tonight. We could put fright in them to try to focus on what they're supposed to be about.
Perhaps the most important function of skeletons is to remind us to enjoy life while we can.
You next. That's the main word. You next. Beside Northside Skull, you are next.
What would New Orleans be without music? From gospel to jazz, R&B to hip-hop, New Orleans has been at the forefront of every musical genre of the past century. Every occasion in life is accompanied by a musical beat. Even after life, music goes with you to the grave.
Music in general is what everything is based off. It's a way of life, and not many things are done culturally without being based off of the music, whether it's a birth or a funeral, church anniversary, doesn't make any difference. The music is what makes the culture, and it's the history and the story of the people.
all the music in New Orleans is mostly based upon the same thing, you know. I mean, regards to where Indian music is not too much different from, you know, blues and jazz because it's got all of that in it. You know, this is New Orleans. And the gumbo, you know, you just put every little thing in it.
What is it that makes New Orleans music special? For the answer, we have to go there.
There were certain cultural elements that went on that are significant and integral to the development of New Orleans music. One, they had African rhythms, which they did not have in other places in the United States openly. They had their own instruments. Different groups of African peoples were playing their music as they played it in Africa.
The basic things that you always hear in New Orleans come out of West Africa. The different clave rhythms, the one especially that you hear in New Orleans, it's in everything that sounds like this. All of our carnival music, whether it's R&B, whether it's a brass band, whether it's General Morton playing the crave on his piano, doesn't make any difference. That's what ties it in, and that's the most predominant rhythm, along with the variations of the what's known as the bambula rhythm. Coochie coochie male, coochie coochie male, coochie coochie male, coochie coochie male.
When we look at the continuation of the bambula as a drum beat that still remained with the Mardi Gras Indians 100 years after they had been out there on the streets. Okay, in 1994, it had been 110 years. Over that 110 years, that beat had stayed there. It just took someone finding it to identify it and discern it.
The thing that's consistent with New Orleans music is that they accent 4, which is so that gives it another drive.
These rhythms have become essential to the music of Mardi Gras.
You cannot have Mardi Gras as we know it today without the music. Rex can have a parade and not have no music because they ain't dancing. If we don't dance, we didn't have a parade. Because a parade is not just something you stand there and look at.
In the Black Carnival, there is no division between spectators and participants.
If you would hear Mardi Gras music and you were just sitting down, you have to move your feet, your hand, or something because it's going to hit you, you know, inside. Because it's a thing that, it's a spiritual thing, you know. You got to move.
The second line tradition goes back to the West African processional.
Now, I went to Ghana in 1999, and there I saw what we have here in New Orleans, the Mardi Gras Indian tradition. I saw it there. There were also second lines with umbrellas, brass bands, handkerchiefs, exact same second line dances that we do in New Orleans. They were doing them in Ghana and West Africa.
The African oral tradition is echoed in the music of Carnival.
And that's what all of the Mardi Gras Indian stories and songs do. They tell the stories of past fallen heroes, of hard times that people have gone through. It's kept the tradition alive. From the days of Congo Square, before the people came here on a boat, they had to try to tell their story. And it's been kept alive through Mardi Gras Indians.
I learned how to sing Indian Red by listening to my daddy sing Indian Red at these practices. I was about like this. And Indian Red is one song that you don't tamper with. You don't change it because when you change it, you take the spirit, you take the feelings out of it. It's a song like Our Father's Prayer. You don't change that.
See, the rhythms and the drum always carries the spirit of the people. I began to hear, I could hear Choctaw rhythms, I could hear Cherokee rhythms in these things. And For me, it was the spirit.
When we chant, we don't know what we're going to say, you know, but we're telling stories. All I know is when I'm chanting is that I'm going to tell a story about what I do. Okay. Same thing in rap. Pretty big chief on the Mardi Gras Day. I got to be the star. People come to see me from near and far. I'm about to run out through it on the Mardi Gras.
The spirit of the Mardi Gras Indians is very prevalent in jazz music because we do the same things. You have to make up a style that's your own. You have to be able to sing and dance. You have to know all sides of the Mardi Gras Indian culture to be the same thing with jazz.
If it wasn't for Mardi Gras, we wouldn't have the brass band. You know, the music is very important with all the Mardi Gras organizations. When I first started playing the Zulu parades, they wanted you to play up tempo because they wanted to dance. And, you know, you would always have a crew of people dancing behind, and it's important. The biggest part of the whole parade is when you got to Galley Hall. You wanted to play when the Saints go marching in. Because your mayors was there and all your big-time political people, and you wanted to make a good impression of them.
If there were no brass bands to keep the party going, there was always the jukebox.
They had Mardi Gras Mambo, which is a favorite of mine. They had Going to the Mardi Gras by That's Long Hair, another favorite, and some of the others. And I thought Carnival Time would have been a little different.
Al Johnson wrote and performed the tune Carnival Time in 1960 when he was 18 years old. Since then, it has become one of the anthems of Mardi Gras.
Everybody was saying Mardi Gras, but most people that I was around were saying Carnival. So then I came up with the idea of Carnival Time. The green room is smoking and the flares are burning down. Throw my baby out the window and let those joints burn down. Happy God is kind of a time. Oh, it's kind of a time. Oh, well, it's kind of a time. And everybody's having fun. The green room is smoking and the plaza's burning down. Both of those were two clubs, you know, right in that area of Claiborne.
The song's producer tried to get Johnson to change the lyrics to make it more commercial.
He said, well, maybe I should put Bourbon Street instead of Claiborne Street, and I didn't know anything about Bourbon Street all the way back there then. Because all of our carnival was on Claiborne. You know, Claiborne was tough. You know, it was great.